Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another decent deck profile. This time I'll be covering the updated Lascaria Veleno deck profile. And I actually recorded one like before, but like basically before DZBT07. But then when I see like the generic support given out, I'm like, okay, maybe I should make a profile that also included that instead of making two profiles which is kind of outdated. So here I am right now with the upgraded deck profile, which is only like a one card change, but at least you don't need to look at that version and see what one card is different, right? So with this deck, it kind of rotates a little better. You find your pieces a little bit faster, but the main theme of the deck still I think is kind of the same. And unfortunately, with the current situation, it isn't hitting that big, and even though it is quite good at defending herself, but facing the current meta is still a little bit tough when you get locked, when you get board wipe, which is a lot of main options your opponents will do. For example, they will use Saga to just burn you. They will use the new lyrical card to just lock you. There's so many things that they can do, right? So if you're thinking to use this deck in the tournament, it might be tough, but if you kind of like bring it in, and while a lot of people don't know about this deck, maybe you can get a chance, right? But I think it's still a very good deck for new players to kind of finding a cheaper option while using a little bit more generic cards which cost you a little bit of money but benefits you to the nations, while learning the basics and still being able to fight back in a certain way. So I think this deck can do that job. Now with the right line, we are using the Lascaria right line to search for Veleno cards for race order as much as we can. So far it's still the same. In the past I've been using like Ranger Chain when I use some more normal orders, but in this build I don't think you need to do that, which is a good thing. So you can focus on using Blitz Order to maximize Lascaria Veleno, and also trying to defend yourself, using a lot more Veleno cards, so on and so on. Now in the main deck, first, we do need the souls, we do need the personal right to pump the power up, so it's definitely important. And for the Eraphus, which is the standard, I'm only using 2 right now. In the past I was using like 4, but now even though he's still important, that's for sure, but you do have a lot of searches, so you can just find him out and rather manage my counterblast a little bit more better without putting both of them out. You still can, but I think doing 4 attacks is kind of okay for now, right? So the situation you always need him on both sides is not that much right now, and that 2 counterblast draining every single turn is still very, very tough. So I rather shift the gear to doing 4 attacks, and then use Lascaria Veleno to do the counter charge for ourselves, so that we can just keep using not as much counterblast as we do before, and then we can play a longer game to grind. Because if you're running out of resources, and then like even your opponent allows you to counter charge 1, when you have 2 there, you still can't activate both. So I think a lot of people starting to learn a lot more about damage deny and stuff like that, so I prefer to keep it at 2. But if you want to like increase more, you can definitely consider doing so. And then 4 of the Gridoli. Now Gridoli is a reborn depending on your Vanguard's grade by Soul Blasting 2, and it's a on play skill. But of course you can only use this skill when you have a grade 3 or higher Lascaria Vanguard. So basically you can reborn this and other things if you need to, which is great. And during your turn, if you have 3 or more units with Veleno in the card names, it doesn't need to be different at least. This unit will get boosted plus 5k. So it's a very good 15k boost, and you can have multiples at the back to just give you the stable buff that you need as a boost, right? And then your Vanguard will also buff if you have 3 or more Veleno units. You will get plus 5k on it, so it can be a 20k booster without personal ride, which is great, I guess. Which at least make your base power without personal ride isn't that bad. And then on top of personal ride, you're trying to keep it stable, and then you do the same thing, you keep grinding, not letting yourself taking too much damage, and then just hit a stable number, trying to grind all your shields from your opponent, and then you can win, right? And next, 3 of the Break Shooter, because you do need that kind of draw power, and so far we isn't using any energy right here, at least for now, from what you see. So it's good to still have the Break Shooter there to get you some protection, get you a little bit more draws to find your pieces, which is great. And then we have our new card, which is the Sea Rainbow Dragon Oranioso. So this needs to be on place to Regard Circle from hand, and it's not by unit card's ability, or when you discard it from hand while using a right deck, which is same as the Brave Shooter, then you can choose to reveal a card with personal right from your right deck, or if you have a Vanguard with the personal right symbol, then you can Soul Blast 1, you get yourself a personal shield ticket to your hand. Now the personal shield ticket is also a Blitz Order, so it allows you to just get Lascaria Veleno skill to pop as well. But do remember that when you use this ticket, you can actually use one more time on playing Blitz Order, up to 2 times. So when you use your Blitz Order, make sure you go for this one first to turn yourself to be able to use 2 Blitz Order, and then you use another Blitz Order, which could be the Shadow Dream Blade, which also allows you to play an extra Blitz Order, right? Because if you don't do it in this order, you will still be stuck by the ticket. For example, if you use the Shadow Dream Blade first to +1, and then use this to make yourself able to play 2 Blitz Order per turn, then this is your second one, so you will not get another one that you can play. So make sure you, when you use this personal shield, is starting with this. You use this and then plus some triggers or whatever, or maybe plus the Shadow Dream Blade, right? Then that's fine. But again, make sure you play this first so you don't cause yourself some trouble, because when you find out that you do it in the wrong order, you will feel very painful, especially in a tournament environment that your opponent may not allow you to go back steps, and you will need to stuck with what you did, right? Also, when this card attacks a graveyard higher unit, will get plus 5k until end of the battle, which is a good plus. You will need some extra power. So it's kind of like the Lascaria buff to yourself without the Lascaria name. So that is also one reason I'm not playing that much of this card, even though the protection, the Blitz Order is actually quite fitting the theme. But then it doesn't contain any Veleno card name. So when you are counting your units, he is not part of the family. So unfortunately, he cannot get buffed. He cannot also be counted to get the buff. That is why I'm not running a lot of them. But it's definitely a good card to stay in the deck. If we can find a little bit more room, maybe you can slot in a third copy. But so far, everything is okay. Right. Next is Vanillo Soldato Nephonophila. So this is a support from DZBT07 and it's a very good one. When it's on place, on regular cycle, if you Vanguard with Lascaria in its card name, you can +1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Vanguard in its card name, or up to 1 order card without regular piece from among them, review it and add to your hand, shuffle your deck. So it's a look 7 search, which compare to your Fiore is a +1 and look at 5. Now you look at 7. So it's already getting better, and she can only get you Bliss Order. This can grab you order cards, even though for me it doesn't really matter. But do make sure you pick cards without various piece, which is the only restrictions. And during your turn, if you have 3 or more units with Veleno in its card name, you get +5k, which is the same with Fiore. So in here we now have 7 to 8 searches depending on how many you want to play, but I am a little bit tight on space, so here I am with a total of 7 copies, with this being able to search more, so I'm using more. And then we have our Veneno Soldado Sidiroca. So this is one of the bucks that we get for as a great one, which happens in DZBT02, so it's a very old card, but it's a very good one. At the end of the turn, if you have 5 or more units with Veneno in its card name, including your Vanguard at least, you can card +1 and put this card to the bottom of the deck. Choose up to 2 Bliss Order for a drop and put them into your hand, so you can reuse your Bliss Order to get yourself prepared for whatever coming to you. Right. And then 3 PGs and then 1 Bliss Order PG, because for Lascaria Veleno, Bliss Order is very important. So here we are. Usually I'm not like very restrictive to use the Bliss Order or not, depending on what you have, but in this deck I think you should. If you don't have this, go for the other one. You have quite a few options, so that's great. And also a Bliss Order, Union the Sky, that you can just also pump a little bit more power when you have another copy of the Vanguard in your soul and drop zone, so it can become a 25k shield, which is quite big. When you are counting numbers, that can be very, very helpful. And again, it's a Bliss Order so that you can fully utilize Lascaria Veleno with her skill. And then Sweet Honey Garden, which is the same idea to buff the shield value. And then your Bliss Order engine is definitely from the Shadow Dream Blade, so allows you to play more Bliss Order, and then mixing with the ticket, then you can do a lot of Bliss Order guarding actions for yourself, which again help you, benefits you a lot. And that's basically it. And now we enter triggers. Now first, OT, I'm using the 3K OT. If you want to use the fire OT, you can. If you want to use like light OT, I think it's okay, kind of. But because your Vanguard is the one that always gain the crit, so it is the most likely to get PG. So I don't think light OT is going to help you too much. Dark OT is kind of okay, but your board should usually be full, and your front row Regas will usually be standing anyway, so I don't think Dark OT is that kind of helpful, at least to me. And then we have this, and Water OT I think is okay as well, but if you are picking, I would say go for Storiki OT or Fire OT, which is going to help you the most. Yeah. And for crits, I'm running 7 crits for the 10k draws, because drawing pieces is more important in this deck, even though front is going to be helpful, but if you can't get your pieces, it's still going to be tough, including the Bliss Orders. So I'm using the draws to maximize that, and then 4 heals. Right, so the trick is very standard. If you want to use a soul crit, you can. It's not that much of a deal, at least from what I see, even though you need to soul blast 2 when you use a Gridori. But other than that, I think everything is not that tough, and the deck itself is tuned quite well right now, with this joining the family, and then with this to give us a little bit more Blitz Order, allow us to like start our Blitz Order engine with Lascaria Veleno. So again, the strength of the deck is still like being stable, being easy to learn, still have more than 3 attacks, and then use the big shield power from the Blitz Order where you can gain from and try to survive every single turn. It unfortunately is still tough against the main meta because they are hitting you too much, they are doing too much drive checks, they're hitting you too big, so it's still tough. But if you kind of manage this deck well to do a little bit more grinding, don't go too aggressive, you should be able to survive, because a lot of Blitz Order in this deck are grade 2, so unless you're getting like a grade 1 rush, when you get a grade 2 rush you can still kind of protect yourself. Not like a lot of decks that you don't have the materials to protect yourself. In here you have a lot of grade 2 Blitz Order to actually protect you, and there are a lot of different draw powers inserted in this deck. You just need to take your time, read your effects carefully, slowly grinding, calculate your numbers right, and just swing with a stable, standardized power, and this deck can still help you win games. It doesn't have divine scale, it doesn't have like any very fancy stuff, but herself is fancy, right? So if you are new to Vanguard and want to find a deck to try, definitely I would suggest this one. I even made a English one for some of my friends to actually like try out, or friends of friends when they have no experience on Vanguard. So far, with their first experience with the deck, they feel the deck is actually quite easy to pick up, to learn. So I do think it is a very good entry point, and then you get yourself some brain shooter which can be benefit to you on multiple Stoichia decks, and the rest is actually not too expensive, because like this stuff are kind of cheap, except the brave shooter. Even these ones will be cheap anyway, so yeah, I think it's quite easy for yourself to get it. Probably these ones, but I think you can find them somewhere. This, as long as you buy the starter, you can get this already, which you might be competing with the starter itself on which deck to use the order card, but at least you can just share around, and then you have 2 decks to play with, to like being a start. So yeah, I think it's a very good starter deck for anyone joining Vanguard. And if you want something to just practice your grinding skill, I think this is also a deck that can help you to do that, because it have aggression if you want to, but if you take the time to grind, you're starting to see how the value it comes to you every single turn. Yeah, so I think that's it I need to say for this deck profile. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments down below. Subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos. And yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.